Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling a piece of grammar that honestly might sound a little intimidating at first, but it is actually the hidden machinery behind almost everything you say. Forget the heavy textbook jargon for a second. We are looking at noun clauses in the wild. We use these structures constantly, like without even realizing it, to express complex ideas, ask indirect questions, and basically share information in a really advanced way. So let me ask you right off the bat, have you ever found yourself saying sentences like these? Do these common conversational patterns feel familiar from your own daily life? I am willing to bet they do, whether you're chatting with a friend, firing off an email, or speaking up in a morning meeting. Okay, let's dive into this. Listen to this. I know that she is honest, or what he said surprised everyone. These super familiar, everyday phrases actually contain the grammar secret we are exploring today. That she is honest, and what he said, boom. Those are your noun clauses that work. They are silently doing the heavy lifting in your sentences. To really master this, here is our roadmap for the explainer. We'll start with what a noun clause actually is, then look at functions in everyday speech and the three main types. After that, we'll dive into real-life conversation examples, how to reduce clauses, and finally, common mistakes to avoid. All right, section 1, what is a noun clause? You can think of a noun clause as kind of a master of disguise. Basically, it's a dependent clause functioning exactly like a regular everyday noun. And just like any standard clause, it contains its own mini subject and verb. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. It totally needs the rest of the main sentence to make sense and do its job. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. First, we have a basic noun acting as the subject. His success surprised us. Pretty easy, right? Now let's upgrade it. That he succeeded surprised us. They both perform the exact same grammatical function, but that clause lets you express the idea in a much more sophisticated, detailed way. Moving right along to section 2, functions in everyday speech. There are 4 main jobs a noun clause can do in a sentence. It can act as the subject, the object, the subject complement, which is just following a linking verb like is or seems, or the object of a preposition. I really want to reassure you here, it's honestly just plugging a full clause into the exact same spot where a normal, single-word noun would go. Let's look at the 2 most common ones. First, let's look at the subject really pulling its weight. What he told me changed everything. That entire phrase, what he told me, acts as the subject of the verb changed. Alternatively, a clause can be the object receiving the action. Say a student tells you, I don't know why the answer is C. The phrase, why the answer is C, is the object of what they don't know. You hear this literally everywhere in academic and professional settings. Okay, section 3, the 3 main types. So we have that clauses, which we use to report facts, opinions, or beliefs, like I believe that English is important. And keep in mind, sometimes that word that is actually optional in spoken English. Next up are W clauses, which use question words to ask indirect questions, such as, I know where she lives. And finally, whether or if clauses are absolutely perfect for expressing yes or no ideas, like, I wonder if it will rain tomorrow. 3 powerful ways to express your thoughts. Let's get into section 4, real-life conversation examples. Let's see this grammar in the wild. Imagine you're at work, right? And your manager walks in, looking a little stressed out. They ask the team, can anyone explain what happened yesterday? Notice that what clause right there at the end, what happened yesterday, acting perfectly as the object of the verb explain. And then, as the employee, you naturally reply, we discovered that the server had crashed. Hear how smoothly that clause functions? It perfectly packages a complex event, the server crashing, into a neat little object of your discovery. It sounds super professional and highly informative. Or, let's switch gears for a second. Imagine you're a tourist in a totally new city. You wouldn't just walk up to a stranger and bark, where's the station, right? You want to be polite, so you use a noun clause and say, could you tell me where the nearest station is? It really softens the question, removes that direct interrogation feel, and makes you sound incredibly natural and fluent when you're traveling. All right, section 5, how to reduce clauses. Now, what's really interesting about this is a brilliant efficiency hack. Instead of using the full, somewhat wordy clause, I don't know how I should solve this problem, you can compress it using a W word plus a to infinitive. It becomes simply, I don't know how to solve this problem. It's the exact same meaning, but it just flows so much better.
Let's look at another rapid-fire reduction example. Instead of saying the full, "tell me what I should write," you just shrink it right down and say, "tell me what to write." Native speakers use this shortcut constantly: what to do, where to go, how to solve it. Whenever the subject is clearly understood, this is a fantastic way to instantly level up your spoken English.
Finally, Section 6, Common Mistakes to Avoid. The number one trap, by far, is word order. You might hear someone say, "I know where does he live." Huge mistake. Even though we're using a question word like where, a noun clause is embedded inside a statement. Therefore, it absolutely must use statement word order. So the correct, beautifully structured way to say it is, "I know where he lives." Subject, then verb. Always, always keep that in mind. Here is another sneaky one involving prepositions. You might be really tempted to say, "it depends on if he comes," but the strict structural rule here is that when you have a preposition, like on, in, or about, you must use whether, not if. So it correctly becomes, "it depends on whether he comes." Honestly, whether is generally more formal and flexible anyway, so substituting it in is a great habit to build for both your writing and speaking. While we have covered a lot of fantastic ground today, from the basic definitions to real-life conversational hacks, and even how to avoid those really common pitfalls. So I'll leave you with this final, elegantly reduced noun clause to think about. Have you decided what to study next? I really hope this explainer has empowered you to take these structures out into the real world with total confidence. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.